Come back to the NLC. We're moving on to our 5th game of the day, 2nd of this series, and potentially our final game of the day if BTXL could take the 2-0 win. But, Orcs, how likely do you think that is?
I think there's a chance that BTXL look a lot more on form. And I think that was always the big question mark coming into the series is, what are we going to get from BTXL? Have they sorted the problems out? Have they integrated the players into their roster? Are they looking comfortable? And it was kind of the expectation was they probably would have, but we never knew for sure. And it's quite evident from what we saw in that game that this is the BTXL we expected when they finished EU Masters tied up with, losing just to K-Corp. We expected this sort of level of play. And can they carry this out in the series? Who knows? But if they do, I think Riddle are going to be in for a tough time.
Couldn't agree more. It's a case of looking. Orcs is just usually right. It's difficult
he
to
is,
bounce
honestly.
off.
And after seeing that game one, I mean, you can't really pick holes in his argument or in BTXL's game. I think they played really, really well, really solid stuff. And I would also say just the way they drafted too, it's like putting Deadly on that mage was not really expected from me, and I would have had question marks as to whether or not that's even in Deadly's wheelhouse. But now as Riddle, you're like thinking, oh crap, Deadly can do these kind of things. Now there's even more stuff for us to be worried about.
And I think what I liked is that we spoke to BTXL a lot over the course of the split in their interviews. They were like, look, we got absolutely bodied by K-Corp because they have an early game that's on another level. And their whole spiel was, we want to have a good early game. We want to have a good early game. And they drafted a composition that gave them that. They had the early agency. They were able to apply that pressure. Sure, was that early game super crisp? Not exactly, but it shows they're still trying to fit to that sort of composition. And the pressure definitely allowed them to get to a point where they felt comfortable. And then they have the individual skill when it comes to the later game team fights. Deadly and Hatrix really on point in those scenarios. And we're going to see a bit of a repeat with some of the champions they're picking up.
Yeah, you can see the Reddict and Syndra both making appearances from last game. They've also locked in that Nautilus, so could be going for the Syndra and Nautilus bot lane if they so desire. And again, it could be Hatrix on this pickup as well, because they've got that flexibility. Diana and Fresh, the responses from Riddle so far, they will get another one before bans come through. But a lot of power already picked up by both of these teams.
I think the Syndra pick's really nice into someone like Thresh, because I don't really think you can play a vulnerable AD carry into Syndra very well. It's really tough to do that, especially when there's Nautilus on the other side too. And that's kind of one of the biggest benefits of having a Thresh on your team, is that it does allow you to draft champions like Philios, Jinx, Kog'Maw, these kind of more DPS orientated AD carries that are more vulnerable. Suddenly, yeah, maybe having that Thresh isn't just enough. And as you mentioned as well, Viper, it's a good flex for BTXL. We saw that in the very last game. It's going to be another set pick up here for Riddle. Are you expecting that to be slow queue set again, Orcs, or is this a flex at this point?
I think it's still a flex. I think whether it goes in the top kind of depends on what it's going to be faced up against. I love it with the Diana though. This is a really popular combo in the LPL where you have the engage, the lockdown of the set, and you have, the burst damage, the AoE base damage from the Diana, and also the Haymaker as well does like ridiculous, like 1,000 true damage. So you combo those and it just obliterates almost anything. Especially this Syndra, you don't have a Thresh for sort of like the peel, the extra mobility on your side. If they get on her, she will just go down, whether she's bot or mid. So definitely providing an answer to that sort of immobile backline mage, which BTXL relied on. And I like that they're banning away the likes of Lucian, so kind of force that Syndra to potentially go mid lane. Now they are in a position where I think they're probably going to just take the AD carry here. Although, this is technically a flex. So you can't actually call what this is. This can go bot lane into the Syndra and kind of just outranges her. So I think the intention from Riddle is wherever the Syndra goes, they'll take the Xerath and they'll just match.
Ooh, it's spicy pick though. Xerath, you don't see a lot of, obviously Ziggs is still open, right? And normally what Xerath does, Ziggs also does just a little bit better in competitive. But it's a similar idea, right? That's the reason why you go for the Xerath. And so at this point, you're playing versus a immobile, just like pylon, siege magic person, and that's Xerath. And so you're picking things that are good into that. And I think the Trundle, honestly, it's really nice because there's a lot of just running around from Riddle. Set just wants to run at you. Xerath, if you put a pillar near him, he's screwed, really. So it's a decent choice to pick up. I also really like it just as a general pick for Dan as a champion. We're gonna get the Jace rounded out here. So I would imagine that's again Deadly on the Syndra. You're gonna have Jace in mid with Hatrix. Now it's just up to Riddle. What do they want to run into Arome's Renekton, which they did first pick? Pretty scary. Let's see what they go for.
And I think something like the Wukong makes a lot of sense because the die potential is just insane, right? From this Riddle composition, you have the set, you have the Diana, you have the Wukong going forwards, and all essentially all the Xerath has to do is kind of just alley-oop through the dunks in on top, and he's good to go. And I'm looking at the likes of this Jace, of the Syndra. If they get backline access, it's a clear sort of win for Riddle. Now, I think a critical factor is that you're going to be looking for flanks. There's a lot of disruption on this team. There's the Trundle pillar, there's the Renekton buying space, the Syndra scatter the weak. So I think Riddle can be creative with their approaches to team fights, and that's where they can find success. But I really like this composition they put out. It's interesting. They're adapting to the fact that Deadly's now picking Syndra in the bot lane. And I like that they're bringing this out with confidence, despite the fact they're 1-0 down. This could be the last game in NLC Summer, and they're still willing to bring out these things that are a bit more fringe, a bit more wacky.
That's wacky is the correct term. Xerath bot, and it's strange because the Ziggs is available, and as you mentioned, they kind of did the same thing, but Ziggs is just a little bit of a more popular pick right now. So very, very excited to see how Gooby pilots this. Well, I'm going to be handing over to our casters, maybe for the last time today. PTXL pick up this win. Hit rate and Jamada, take it away.
Honestly, I think if you're BTXL, you want this to be a 2-0. You need to find some confidence from the fans and, for yourself going in, because they have a long road to climb into the finals. This is the lower bracket. They've still got to play the next lower bracket game versus Team Singularity, who won versus Nordvin 2-1 in a very tight series. And then they've got to lose. If they then beat them, they've then got to beat whoever loses between Tricked and Fnatic Rising. So honestly, they got a long way to go. If XL can get a 2-0 here, it's a great start to the playoffs for them. Riddle, they need to find a way to answer back. They need to find a way to come back. And like they're saying on the desk, they pulled something a little bit different out here. They're pulling the Xerath as a potential answer to Deadly on the Syndra. Much more range on that Xerath. I have to see what the impact can be, though.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not incredibly surprised about the Xerath in terms of Gooby being the one that's playing something out there like the Xerath, because on his previous team, very happy to flick loads of random things. One of the teams that would play Scion Sentinel, when that was temporarily meta. And I believe also, I remember looking at a game where I think he was playing Krakus. So he's only been willing to play mages. We do know that. Xerath, obviously, a very interesting pick. And I think it's going to interact very well into a majority of this BTXL comp. The only thing that can really match the range, is the Shock Blast from Jace. And that's kind of it. So again, if Riddle can keep Gooby safe, definitely an avenue. And I think, unlike the last game, a couple of other, damage threats, right? Team fight threats. Unlike game one, where it was kind of just all on Gooby, right? If Gooby died, team fight, chances of you winning much lower. And now BTXL gonna threaten this late invade. And I mean, I think they should, to be honest with you. Trundle, really strong level 1. Jace as well with the range advantage. Renekton as well, but it looks like they're just gonna go for a more standard pathing, just want to gain information. And even if Riddle don't clear out that ward on the top side, and they're still going to have information that, Diana's starting on, Wolf solo or on the blue buff, either way. So they know her pathing already from the get-go. Whereas Riddle going to be working with a little less information technically. They don't know where Trundle could have trotted off to.
Laning phase has started, and Slowq actually played a lot of set this season so far. I think it's actually his most played. I literally just looked up his champ history, because for me, I was like, oh, I think Xerath's the Slowq champ, and then turns out it's not him, and I was thinking of someone totally different. I might be thinking of UKLC mids there, to be honest with you. Anyway, has played a lot of the set this season, so a very comfortable pick for him. Hatrix, he's a very versatile player. Pulling out his champ pool from this season doesn't really sell the story. He's a very experienced player. He's played a lot. Romeo has been a real standout for XL throughout a lot of their time together. Starting off this laning phase, getting pretty heavily bullied by Kex on the Wukong.
Yeah, definitely. But again, much like game 1, I wonder how, I hate to use the word so frequently about volatile on the bottom side would be. Just because of the action that we saw break out the last time. Is it going to be a little more, touch and go because the Xerath can kind of match the range of the Syndra? You can see Xerath only really needs to walk into range to water attack to get his passive back up. Other than that, he doesn't really want to be in range of a Syndra Nautilus. Thresh just kind of there to provide an extra safety net. But it does mean they will probably give up a pretty consistent priority for a majority of the lane. Until, you know, Xerath gets a couple more points in his queue, then he can start to match the wave clear. For now, MC up on the top side, where the priority lies with Kex. Does eat a pretty nasty trade, but Skull Crab should still be secured. And on the bottom side, Dan, pretty quick clear as well on that Skull Crab, and both these junglers pretty much going to be matching each other, just in a slightly different order. So no harm, no foul there. And my only hope is that we don't get a slow game like last game, just because it can be very, you know, last game almost felt kind of season 5-ish, you know?
Please, never again. Honestly,
I don't know about you.
Riot have, you know,
Yeah.
we've had some questionable stuff from them over the years, but the removal of Sightstone and the changing to the warding meta, I don't care what anyone says. I think it's done wonders for the game, because games are so much less methodical in that sense, where it was just set the vision up, move away, and it was just the battle for vision was not fun to watch. It might be fun for people who are more technical and coaches and color casters and things like that, and you know, I'm sure people really enjoyed that side of it. Yeah,
right.
But like for the average viewer, vision was horrible to handle. It made the game so much slower, and I think it was genuinely an amazing change.
I think it's, you know, pros and cons, right? I think that for sure. The game was starting to stalemate out. For me, I didn't like that they also took away the vision from junglers. I didn't mind Sightstone here, but I think junglers also.
So they tried to do it, didn't they? Because they gave him that smite item, and it did exactly the same thing as what Sightstone did.
Yeah, I just think they had to maybe only give it like 1 ward charge per reset, and it probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because I think it used to give 2. And 2 wards worth of information. Yeah. I don't think it was 3. I think it was 2.
Tracker's knife.
Yeah, Tracker's knife. There you go. Well done remembering that. It's been like 5 years since that item's been in the game.
Yeah, I know, it's been a long time. I don't know why that one just always sticks with me. Because you had Tracker's knife, you had, I can't remember the yellow one, that was the attack speed one, which originally had the little dog that you fed.
Devourer? Like the yeah, Devourer. Yeah, Devourer.
Devourer, yeah. And then they changed that.
Wasn't, no, but that wasn't a smite, was it? That was just the item. Like, that was just the jungle item, right? Like, you had Warrior, you had...
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes, Devourer was
yeah. And Cinderhawk. Devourer was just the on-hit.
Because you had Chilling Smite, you had Challenging Smite, and then you had Tracker's Knife, right?
Yeah, or, I believe so.
Yes.
And there was also the AoE clear one, but I can't remember for the life of me what that was called.
Oh, yes.
The AoE stun smite.
Hunter's Knife or something.
On the camp. Yeah.
The one that your smite would be on a really short cooldown.
Yes.
You can smite champions with it.
Yeah. Did it reduce the cooldown on the smite?
Yeah. It was like a shorter cooldown. Oh. So you could basically smite like almost like every other camp eventually.
Right.
But, you know, it's kind of a waste. It didn't really do too much of them.
You know, wasn't it like the meta in pro play though? I remember a lot of junglers building that specific jungle item over like...
I think for a while, but I think it spent most of its time being kind of irrelevant. I think there was like one time where it was really relevant. I can see in our production chat right now, our YouTube jungler.
Yeah.
Currently typing away. Manically typing towards us. Oh, it was the only jungle item that healed back then, before all the smites did.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
That's right. Gosh, I forgot that smite, like, didn't originally actually heal.
Did it also have a shorter cooldown? I swear it did.
It used to have a much shorter cooldown. It was like 40 seconds, right? Per smite charge. But you obviously didn't have charges. So it was just one flat cooldown, like smite on 40 seconds.
Yes, because smite didn't always have a charge.
Yes. See, I remember that off the top of my head because I'm
jungle items. This game is chill at the moment. That's why.
Yeah. It's hard to do the whole like storylines and narrative stuff when the team's I can't stop to talk about. There's no like crazy big leads anywhere. You know, the top side Kex is gonna fall behind a little bit on the CS, but like it's pretty irrelevant because Wukong's a pretty strong team fighter. As long as he's finding his mark and he's not falling behind ridiculous amounts of CS, he's gonna be okay. And of course, on the flip side, as long as Arome doesn't get too accelerated, it's effectively the same thing. And Dan's not been able to find anything, despite all of the setup, particularly in the side lanes. So, like, we're just here. We're here. Just, you know, vibing. Hope you're enjoying the podcast and all the rest of it.
Don't worry. League of Legends will come. Podcast first.
Yes.
Do you remember Riddle Lantern as well?
Dude. I love Diam.
That's how you get a jungler feeling semi-sad, semi-happy.
Yeah.
Remind him of that item.
I remember season 4 Rengar with Diam or Udyr. Udyr was like the big plus and Master Yi as well. All three of those champions. Just
what was the other one? Were there two, or was there just the? I can't remember.
Because what was it? I can't remember how to pronounce the first part of the name because I haven't said it in so long. But like Mal something Dread, right? The Razor Claw item.
Yes, yeah.
The jungle Razor Claw item, and I'm pretty sure that actually built into regulars.
Maldred's Blood Razor. Thank you, Foxdrop.
Thank you,
again in production chat as we journey down nostalgia lane.
Yes.
I didn't
Even
really
in 2021, I continue to learn from Foxdrop. 8 years.
about
8 years of progression. Hate these do score. Look, hold on. You know, I've been here since like season 4, but you know, it's not quite the whole.
We just get
season
called a
1,
random
2.
by our observer. Is that why?
Yeah, we did. That's wild. No, sometimes you just kind of let it happen. By the way, MC did pick up the Herald, so if there is something to talk about very briefly, where you can drop the Herald. Honestly, if anything, he kind of wants to drop it for himself, and it's going to be more about like the opportunity and the opportunity cost of dropping the Herald. If anything, I don't think it's going to be like, hey, I want to give my resources to this person more than anybody else. I think it's going to be more about, hey, this is a great opportunity, and we're not going to lose much for dropping the Herald. So, and we'll keep our eyes on MC to see where exactly he goes. XL finally pick up a neutral in that first Cloud Dragon. We will have a Mountain or an Ocean Soul when we get down to business. It will be the Infernal that spawns second, so see if anything happens there. But looking realistically at probably first item spikes until we see any major action. Deadly still looking for the Zhonya's. Oh, they're trying to set up a Death Brush, but they don't know about that control ward in the next bush, so not going to be able to find Gooby. Or at least they shouldn't be able to anyway. So yeah, first items, you know, Slow Q, Gore Drinker, Rocket Belt on the MC, Kex with a Divine Sunder, then we might see something. Okay.
Denek's coming in, they got the teleport. Denek's trying to make the escape as he flashes out. The Force Pulse hits and Slow Q chasing them down. Lantern's thrown out. Station catches onto Denek and it's first blood. XL get a little bit too antsy. 10 minutes of a lull.
No.
Them.
Is it antsiness or is it just straight boredom? Because I don't know. If I'm a support player in this game, I actually want something to happen. I'm playing Nautilus. I want to scrap.
Yeah, if you're playing Nautilus, it's pain.
I want to
actually.
fight. So,
I think we could be in for a much slower tempo game, at least for a while. Yeah. Just off the bat, we have a Xerath and a Syndra. I think Rift Herald, MC's got it in his pocket, genuinely going to be very important in this game because trying to crack open these mid lane towers and deny them the ability, because eventually Gooby and Deadly are just going to sit mid lane and clear waves. If you can crack those towers early, you buy freedom for the team. You buy so much space to be able to move in and play some of this kind of more aggressive vision. As we do talk a little bit about the vision, you can see, you know, there's a little bit been placed down Riddle towards the bottom side of the map. It's nothing like massive, but that little triangle of vision does supply enough information for them to work with for now. But obviously, don't really have too much place in the jungle other than that ward just by the Tri-Brush and the one PlayStation placed in the Tri-Brush. So Dan's going to have a pretty hard time moving towards the bot side. He does show his face in the mid lane for the moment. Kex, Romate just having a bit of a scrap here. Romate taking the better end of those trades as he's got himself the lockdown charged up and gets himself the whip. But Kex coming in, he's got MC at his back and Monkey Bop is here. Dominus is going to get used and the Moonfall is flashed away by Romate. Teleport coming in as he slicey dices, he heals to keep himself alive. Kex is here and Hatrix is coming in to save the day. The shot blast, no gates used. And it looks like they're just going to save their crocodile friend, but no! Dan's coming in. He wants to make this happen as to the skies he goes. The pillar goes down and a bit of damage comes out, but they haven't really got too much to follow up onto. And Deadly continuing to free farm away in the bottom side of the map. Oh. Good little scatter there. They get the hook!
Oh, interrupted!
Unleash power! Denek gets some revenge.
All right, finally, Denek, you know, upset that that previous play didn't go to plan. Interrupts the Lantern there, and now Dan trying to find slow Q here. Honestly, Pillar, a lot of potency on quite a few of these immobile champions.
Oh, he's
and
against the
oh
wall.
my god.
Between an ice and a
wait.
hard play, slow Q actually being
Wait,
caught out
what?
at the moment. He sidestepped the hook. Subjugation starting to burn out a little bit as Hat-Trick's going to clear through this wave. This Herald is wasted. We talked about the importance of them. And the first Herald, honestly, not going to achieve much. All it takes is one turnaround and an eye to get procced in. I just don't think Riddle are going to be able to use it.
Worst case,
Hat-Trick's
Dan will
is going to be in the
smite it.
right place.
Yeah, worst case, Dan will smite it, but there you go. Chomped on. Dinner for Trundle. And yeah, MC Riddle weren't really able to find a place to put the Herald, so not going to find any gold advantage from it. And it leaves them sat only 1,000 gold down. And what a great Pillar. I literally said, Pillar, such a great tool. And then Dan just pulls out this like almost game-breaking Pillar that Slow Q can't even walk off of once it's disappeared. But yeah, if Thresh isn't there to pick up, you know, Gooby, Slow Q, even MC in some cases, Dan's Pillar's going to be surprisingly potent. So keep our eyes on the placement there. Because outside of that, you know, the engage tool's not too great. You know, just the Nautilus to work with. The entire kit, plus the Pillar, and it's going to be about follow-up damage that they can find elsewhere. Arome consistently finding really good trades. He's got Dominus.
Yep. Does
And you
force
can
out
tell.
Kex's Cyclone for kind of free there. Doesn't get hit by the second knockup.
Yeah.
So Kex able to clear the wave with it. That will force him away as PlayStation lands a hook onto Dan. Deadly looking for a scout of the week. If he can land it, it's going to be big. PlayStation flashes over. Well, this Dragon up.
Interesting.
Question is who's going to get the priority for it? No Rift Herald to be placed down as MC. Unfortunately, wasn't able to use it to the best of his ability, but is going to start up this Dragon. This will be Dragon number 1 for Riddle. It doesn't look like XL are even interested in contesting it. We'll see what kind of stall we're in for. Like I said, it's either going to be that ocean or that mountain. And it's another ocean today. We haven't seen a single mountain stall yet.
Haven't we?
No.
Are you sure?
Had mostly oceans. We had a single infernal and
And a
a
cloud.
Haven't had a mountain today.
Huh. Oh. Arcane.
Right to the Arcane. Final one flashed away. Denick has rooted PlayStation, but a great stun from the Force
Play
Pulse
no
is going to
flash.
be enough. PlayStation slowed down. He has the Subjugate onto him, and the Scatter the Weak will secure the stun. So Dan is able to pick up the kill. That's the second one for XL, and the first one onto that jungler.
Yeah. Flay blew the flash, getting away from Deadly the first time around. Nice return from Dan and Co to make that one happen. And MC on the top side, immediately gonna take second Herald of the game for Riddle. See if this time they can find a little more use out of it, as Dan just about gonna walk into the river as MC walks off. And MC farming up a bit of a storm. 122 CS at 16 minutes, pretty good, but Kex about to be the recipient of a 2-man gank.
Well, there's that Dominus. They find the knockdown. A great Pillar comes in. They got the teleport. They got the backup. The Moonfall lands onto Rome, and he will lose his life. Denick can't find his opportunity. Can't find the person. As Gooby will secure the kill. 2 for none in favor of Riddle. But PlayStation, he isn't done yet. Wants to see if he can find himself a good death sentence. Pulling out the blue buff. Hat-Trick's autoed that. That was honestly a very heads-up play to know that was going to come out.
Huh. I mean, if he did it intentionally, I'll give him benefit.
And why
benefit
else are you auto-attacking it?
Yeah, just the banter in it.
Banter in it.
Yeah. What do you want from me, man?
Nah, he auto-attacked. He knew he was being chased by a Fresh. Put something, a moving target in between you. Smart stuff there. Now, charge comes down. This tower probably going to get taken out. You got the Monkey Bot with the Divine Sunderer to finish that one up. And will they get a second charge is the question. Arome doesn't have that Dominus, but I don't think they're going to be able to look for it. He gets stuck on the minions momentarily, but Arome can just slice his way forward.
Oh, wait, the eye closed?
Gets popped. It closed.
Wow.
Second charge. Is it meant to close like that?
I don't know how the mechanic works, actually. It feels pretty RNG. Like, sometimes the eye opens right before the charge. Sometimes it closes like that. But
maybe it's just one of those times where you need to check your PayPal.
Yeah, Riddle Esports Herald. As Deadly donates over the cannon to Denick via the dredge line. Okay. Jake, we're 18 minutes into this game. There's been 5 kills.
Yes.
2 minutes until the 3rd dragon.
Yes.
Gold is dead even.
Yes.
You can cut the tension with a butter knife. Well, okay.
I know. You can cut Gooby's health bar with a butter knife. He was just melted there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot knife through bar, I suppose. Scooby's health bar. And that will be a pretty free pickup. And they get the mid-tier 1 off of that. So real nice heads-up play by BTXL to find that pick. Kind of off the back of almost nothing, really.
Luden's Echo and Void Blighting Jewel plus Unleashed Power means dead Gooby.
Yeah, Deadly is very, very strong at the moment. And Gooby is as well, to be fair, but it's about the potency of the champions at this point, right? The numbers, the scaling, all that kind of stuff. And the functionality of D2 champions, slightly different. If you give Gooby enough time, those max range Qs are going to deal so much damage. Of course, playing artillery for the rest of the team to kind of dive in. Slow Q, MC, and Kex. Most likely. Or, of course, to play Peel, as BTXL tried to find their way onto Gooby himself.
I mean, here's the scary thing about BTXL's comp right now is you got Hatrix, he's very close to that mirror mana being fully stacked.
Yeah.
You've got almost the Void Staff onto Deadly. Anyone remotely squishy, it just takes a Shot Blast and a Scatter the Weak. And they're either dead or out of the fight.
Yeah, so remember when I said Gooby was strong?
Yeah. Hextech Alternator hurts.
Yeah. Is going to be able to heal up almost all of that poke, actually. From the Ocean plant, as Flay may have to lantern.
Interrupted it with a pillar. Denick flashes forward.
Wow.
Hook goes wide by PlayStation, but here comes the monkey. In for a quick stopwatch they go, but Denick, I don't think he's going to be able to do much more than throw out the ultimate. The box slows down Arome's advance forwards. Gooby does eat that empowered Shot Blast and has the Honey Fruit and the Lantern to make sure he's going to be able to pick that up, but Arome and now XL able to get themselves the priority here. So Arome does eat that Q from Gooby.
Yeah, Dan's pillars this game have been so on point. Riddle going to be able to pick up this dragon. Either way, Riddle didn't lose a member. Denick was the one that died, so just means BTXL not going to be able to contest that one. And I'm not going to say anything funny about the fact that we're not having a lot of action anymore, because I feel like I might cast the curse it. So just...
What, and give us some action?
Give us some action, yeah. You know what, chat? I want boredom. All right? I want sleeper. I don't actually. I do want to see some fighting, because that's been the meta for like the entire year now. But it's a much more tempered look.
Yeah.
I think specifically from BTXL, right? I think especially when Marku and Avium were in the roster, it was very kind of aggressive. I think that's just, there is no other way to do it. They just were aggressive. But since Dan and Denick came in, what?
I mean, just the damage Hatrix did to that tower.
Yeah.
It was dead either way, but it was just how much he did. That was quite scary.
It's the Jace of W, bro. Maxed out. Deals
Mirror Mana Eclipse as well.
Yeah. But yeah, since Dan and Denick came in, it's definitely looked hard for BTXL to sort of mesh together. Look comfortable in closing out a lot of their wins. And of course, definitely by scoreline, not the best performance you've seen out of BTXL in the standings. As Arome pokes head out, says hi, I'm here to collect the wave, and we'll probably head back into Fog, maybe shove in another. But yeah, maybe a slow tempered look could be the new BTXL moving forward. Of course, if they do move forward in the playoffs, yet still to be seen, but they're up almost 2,000 gold. They've been looking pretty good. Of course, Deadly on the Syndra as well.
It's a real change.
Very, very strong game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, right? I think Syndra, when she was in the meta, all those sort of patches and splits ago, she was really strong in the bottom lane. I did kind of feel like when people were trying to play her after nerfs in the bottom side, it definitely, you know, she felt more bound by level. And I think the more I thought about it, Syndra, a very level bound like carry when you put her in the bottom side, right? because, you know, just flat numbers. If Syndra's not accelerated in the game, then her potency immediately kind of just lessens. Now, BTXL, they're trying to find a pick onto Kex because he's been catching the wave so high up, and they might just get one. But Decoy is an ability, so I'll carry my point. However, Deadly so far, today, with what is effectively kind of a buffed Syndra, not only because of the buff today, but also because they buffed her post that mana nerf in other areas. Looking absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you are right about the level bounding of Syndra because of her passive. You know, now level 13, so does have 2 abilities maxed. Typically the Q and the E for the extra width. As the rate of the arcane comes down, Deadly able to dodge away on one of them. Eats the last 2, but it is a Ocean Soul map, so there should be honey fruits about for him to have a quick chug on and heal back up. But with the dragon spawning in a minute 20, it's not really, well, minute 40, sorry. It's not really the end of the world for him to just go for a cheeky reset here, get himself some health back and pick up that needlessly large rod.
That is a needlessly large rod, isn't it, Jake?
It is.
It is. See how Deadly is able to find impact in the what I'm expecting to be another skirmish over the neutral objective. Gooby did manage to pick up his second item, and he's also got a sorcery point in his inventory, so he's trying to max out on stats in this next fight. And I think, honestly, it makes a lot of sense when you think about one, Riddle already 1 game down. You lose this dragon fight at this kind of timer, right? You're talking about the Baron being up. You're also talking about sort of the state of the game at the moment. It could be a big enough sort of win for BTXL in the moment to give... Oh,
Dominus used the romace chasing Kex. He has no decoy now as he's going to get locked down. Hatrix making his way over, gets the shot blast off and looking to take to the skies. The Cyclone's going to interrupt it. They got the teleport for the reset, and Hatrix now sprinting to safety. Slowkey made his way forward, has that face breaker. The second Cyclone comes down, and XL are looking for the fight. The hook gets dodged on both ends there. As the Arcane post from Gooby, not going to hit anybody. Nobody's getting goobed quite yet.
No, and top laners exchanged their ultimates. Slowkey gonna get chunked out a little bit. Doesn't have flash himself, so engage potency a little bit lower. Riddle, how will they feel about contesting this? Because they're the ones with the dragon lead right now, and if they don't feel confident, they can give it up. And it looks like they are going to do just that. They are heading over to the top side, but there is no, you know, very strong Baron taker on the side of Riddle. Actually, when I think about it, on BTXL side, Barons are probably kind of slow.
Yeah.
I think Deadly's going to need blue buff to be able to just constantly chuck out Qs and burn it down fast. But outside of that, Baron's, yeah, pretty slow, I would imagine, especially if we let the game go past 30 minutes. Is going to be the case. So, 4th Dragon of the game, 2nd of BTXL's will go into their pocket. So both teams 2 apiece, 2 away from Soul. All right, you know what? Jake, I'm going to do it.
Go on.
I'm going to ask the question.
What question?
You know what question I'm going to ask. Chat. Silverback Gorilla or a Grizzly Bear? In a fight to the death, who's winning? Let me know. Type in chat. At NLC LOL, at Jamada or Hitbrain. Okay, Kex. That's the decoy. But you can see how much damage.
The power. Here's the right of the arcane taking to dodge these. Flashes away. The 4th one does not connect. Holy moly, that was close.
Yeah, that was very close. My goodness me, you can see how much damage Gooby is capable of outputting. It's so scary to think about, right? You know, Deadly, very capable of just blowing somebody up. And Gooby, honestly, if he finds, like, you know, the full combo, right? The Shocking Orb plus the Eye of Destruction and the Q, he probably can chunk out somebody pretty heavily, almost 100 to 0 them. But the thing with, you know, the kind of the major difference between the champions is Gooby can do it from 2.5 screens away. In some cases, a little bit further. Deadly kind of has to be on your screen to do it. So, we have to keep our eyes peeled on these two as... Oh, Dominus popped on the top side. These guys might actually scrap out over this.
Yeah, he's going to find himself hooked up, but the shot blast can come in over the wall.
Oh, look at MC. Look at MC.
The week. MC comes in onto Deadly. Deadly tries to unleash the power, but it's not enough. Here comes the Cyclone. It's Beyblade time from Kex. The hook comes out, and Arome just about able to survive thanks to the slow from Denick. That was closer than it needed to be. They do still have the poke from the Jace, though, so this Baron can be a little bit scary if Hatchets can start to land these empowered shot blasts over the wall. And this Baron is going down very, very quickly. There's shot blast number 1. Slowq heavily chunked out. Can Dan get revenge from the last time? Shot blast 2 hits, but the Baron has already been secured. They've got a lantern. Nobody's getting goobed, but the Baron is getting secured for Riddle once again.
Yeah, honestly, presence of mind from MC. For one, to end up in that position anyway, like, can we get a look at the jungle vision for BTXL on their side of the jungle? Because how does he end up here?
Oh, wait.
How, like, for one, how do you end up here if you're MC? Absolutely brilliant. But not only that, he had 2 choices. Blow out Deadly, just assassinate and remove him from the fight, or go for a bigger Moonfall. And honestly, I think he makes the right choice, removing Deadly from the fight. Because you can see, I was more worried about, you know, MC kind of going in, flashing in. Look, they all kind of clump up BTXL, and at this moment, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's going to be a disaster. But instead, he just removes Deadly. He has to dump his entire load on MC, and he just doesn't die anyway. And the rest of Riddle just run through the fight. Yes, they don't really pick up any more kills, but it's about the pressure that they get and the health bars that they burn to be able to pick up the Baron. And now, opportunity to take some standing gold off of the map, right? They've got the bot tier 1 now. They can siege in the mid lane. Again, the engage outside of the Nautilus isn't that great. So if they can dodge out on that Riddle, they're going to be sitting pretty golden. They just got to be a little mindful as well of the pillars from Trundle, because we've spoken about the immobility of some of these champs, but of the... Oh, my goodness. And I suppose now also the poke of hat-tricks. But, you know, a small list of things to have to deal with. What is this a replay of?
Oh, Deadly got chunked out. 1, 2, 3.
Did he die?
4. No, he lived.
Oh, my God.
While you were doing the replay, I was watching that. He very nearly died.
Wow.
Gooby's starting to goob. He's got the Horizons focus. He's got the Luden's Echo.
On the way to it.
Genuinely, Death Cap is one... Well, he's got all the components now for Death Cap.
Yeah.
This time around, I genuinely think once Death Cap's done, 2 Qs and Deadly dies. Not 2 Qs, sorry, 2 Rs and Deadly dies.
Yeah, agree.
Because the Horizon focus damage, bonus damage on the second one, it'll just pop.
Yeah, but the thing is, he doesn't have the Death Cap now. And part of that, because he bought that pot from earlier to try and max out on the stats, you'd have to imagine now.
Oh no, that's not the person!
That is not the person you want to be face checking a bush if you're a BTXL fan. And Riddle with that pick, 1 of 2 options. Push with the Baron, retreat towards the Dragon. Looks like they want this mid tier 2. Dan going to do his best to try and slow down this push, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be a mid tier 2. Probably see them, I would imagine, go over to the Dragon bot. They want to try and max out what they can of these last couple of seconds of the Baron buff.
Deadly. He needs to make the dodge happen. Great pillar actually came out from Dan to cancel Gooby's ult. So they are looking for something, but it feels like at this point, Deadly just gets chunked before the fight even starts, and then they don't have that immediate burst which he offers. Dragon number 3 will be secured by Riddle. Inhibitor stands, and they're teleporting up to the top lane. They're looking to try and cash in on this top side and pull back some of the gold and get some items finished up onto these carries.
Yeah. BTXL will trade out on that front. And like you're saying, Gooby is so damn strong, and he just finished up the Death Cap.
Patrick's is teleported for that. A wave.
A wave, a tower, and Crux. It's, you know, 500 gold.
He doesn't get the tower. The tower survived. It was tier 2 he teleported for. Tier 1 had already gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, never mind.
All right, if he gets it here, then it was worth.
Yeah.
And I think that is an unholy amount of damage coming out from him.
Yeah, Jace, I think people forget. Jace is a... Oh, Denek. Denek stole some of the local gold.
Oh, Denek. I mean, he needs it. He's got an item. That's it.
But that's the support life, right? You finish up your mythic. You buy like a Kindle gem or a stopwatch. You don't get to buy any more
items. There's no point looking at the shop ever again.
You buy a Kindle gem or a stopwatch. You buy a Kindle gem or a stopwatch, and then you just buy control wards for the rest of the game. That's how it works.
I
League
feel
of Legends in
horrendously
Season 11.
sad for support players. Is there any point in having mythic bonuses as support items? Let's be real.
Just front load the stats of the items so they can actually feel a little more practical. I mean, you know, supports. I think they have the second, maybe the third most agency in the game. Oh, hat trick.
Oh my lord. Hat tricks able to dodge all of the last ones.
Yeah.
You saw how much damage the Meteor did. The Meteor I genuinely thought was a shot off the right of the Arcane. Like, I genuinely thought that's just the follow-up damage because of the Horizon's focus plus Meteor. That's nasty.
Yeah, Xerath, not a fun champion when you don't have a bunch of versatile engage. If your only engage is kind of like Nautilus plus Trundle Pillar, and there's no consistent way to make sure that that damage is followed up on every single engage, good luck. This is the kind of game that you're going to get. As Keck's not going to go for that tier 2, though, honestly, BTXL looked like they yielded it.
Yeah, they had.
That tower was too low.
Stands a little longer. Does actually go down to local golds, what's lost here. Dan?
Yeah.
Trying to get close enough to actually hit Gooby, but not going to be able to do so. Dragon spawning in 2 minutes 30 seconds, and that will be Riddle's soul if they can get it. It was soul point for XL if they can get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can kind of take stock a little bit of where we are item-wise, because you've got 3 items finished up as a Rome actually has to slice and dice away from Slowq. Is going to eat a big old chunk of damage. There is not much magic resistance right now. We can see the chains have been finished up for Dan as well.
Yeah, they're on Xerath. Our observer was trying to show us, I believe. So Xerath is the one who
I think that's the one you want to do it.
Yeah, I would say so too, Jake. I would say so too.
The problem is you burn everything to kill Gooby, and then Slowq, MC, and Kex can genuinely
and that
3v5 you.
One of the things I was happy about in this draft, as Dan gonna have a whole bunch of damage thrown back in his face, was that unlike game 1, you know, okay, cool. If Gooby dies, yes, the vocal point is team composition because, you know, Xerath outranges so much of Kex, all right, BTXL. You still got so many other damage threats and team fight threats to have to worry about.
Oh!
And that's the key thing.
Patrick has to make these dodges happen. He's able to do so. Has got himself a little bit of sustain to work with as Kex looks for the assassination off onto Deadly. Deadly forced to flash, and PlayStation keeps eating these shot blasts. Heavily chunked out, and Dan might be feeling himself a little bit. Gooby separated from the team, caught out by the Arcano Pulse, and he's going to be A-okay. Look at that massive wave on the top side. Arome trying to do a bit of zoning duty here. Are they going to give Soul for a tower? Jumping in for Kex, not going to quite find him. Cell spawning in 50 seconds time. They got a little bit more time to work with. Hatrix has been able to sustain himself back up, and now it's Dan who's chunked out. Kex eats the shock blast. Unfortunately, the poke for XL not really landing at the time they need it to land at, though.
Yeah.
And Gooby can clear these waves very effectively on the Xerath.
Yeah, and top wave dealt with by MC. Actually, I think he missing pinged it and then went up there and was like, all right, I guess I'll eat it myself. And like you said, the poke landing and, you know, an opportune time. No one can really capitalize on it. And now Riddle going to be able to sort of reset the health bars. Approach this one at a more even footing. Dragon 13 seconds away from spawning.
Look at
Blue
Arome.
Tower just died on the bomb side. Yeah, Arome.
Flank wards. There's a couple of pings for him to work
Top
with. There's
left,
lots of wards for him to work with. Teleporting in on the long run. They get a stun off onto Kex. The right of the Arcane comes down. Deadly has to dodge the or he's
Where's
dead.
Arome?
MC comes in. MC assassinates him. Gooby has been caught out. Arome looking for the assassination, but the Lantern's going to make sure he is A-okay. Arome now on the wrong side of the map from his team. The Cyclone will lock him up. He flashes away to safety. MC in the middle of everyone. Can they find the turnaround for XL? MC able to jump out. Arome sustaining up and keeping himself going. He slices, he dices as Kex continues to chase. The flash forward comes down and Arome is bot. The shutdown is there. Riddle will secure themselves Soul, and BTXL are quickly running out of options here.
They are running out of options, and honestly, it feels like I'm watching, at least by tension, a repeat of this matchup from last year. I know, Observer. MC is evil and greedy because he wanted the skull. In terms of the tension between these two teams, it feels like if one key ability lands on either side, it will be game winning, team fight winning, series deciding.
I think for me, the really, really big thing is Denick, as you'll see in this replay, isn't there to keep Deadly alive. Deadly's isolated, Deadly dies, and that's your damage. Imagine if Syndra was here in this fight.
I mean, it's about, the priorities, right? Who do you want to keep your Syndra alive more, or do you want to remove Xerath off the field more? And in this fight, it kind of just looked like, split focus in a way, because we had a Rome and Denet going for Gooby on the backside. Nobody stays with Syndra, with Deadly to actually keep him alive. And that's the big issue for me. And at least the fight a little bit too scattered, whereas the peel was there for Gooby. I think PlayStation even flashed Landon to make sure that he had a way out, as well as Slowq turning around to ultimate Arome away from his Xerath. So, focus a little more pinpoint for Riddle in comparison to BTXL right now. And that's the difference. Makes Slowq a bit caught out, but he's got a Landon.
Yeah, has got that Landon. The hook goes a little bit wide, and I'm amazed PlayStation got fresh 2 games in a row. It's so impactful. Deadly. Banshees eats up one of the shots. The second shot lands, and the fourth one comes down as well.
Off HP.
Has got the honey fruit, though, but Soul is going to make this life so hard. They need to burst Gooby, but the Syndra can never get in range, and that's the key. That's the key to killing. Now, we can see that in the top side of the map, there is a siege from Kex, and the bot side is Hatrix. Hatrix is trying to make this happen, but a base race versus Baron is a base race you don't
just like
win.
Last year.
And Slowq's come in for the reset. They found themselves the hook onto Dan. The Scatter of the Week's not going to land, and the inhibitor will fall. XL, this could just be it. They've been able to take not even a tower on the bottom side, and they're going to suffer 2 inhibitors down here. Looking for some kind of a reset, maybe a teleport flank. Yes, that's going to be the answer. That's going to be the opportunity. But Dan dodging away on a bunch of the CC. Slowq teleports in as well. NC has to be careful as they go for the play. Dan goes in for the subjugate. Arome looks a lot Kex down, but Dan is already dead. And Arome is on the wrong side. He's just going to catch the waves, but they still got waves in the base. You can't do anything about this, man. There's nothing you can do. The towers will be going down, and Riddle will be pushing it all the way to game number 3. It's a 6-game day, baby.
6-game day indeed. Riddle with the Xerath pick. Throw in the curveball, and it damn well works. And this time, they make sure that they have other carries to rely on if Gooby does get picked off. And Riddle, I mean, again, it was a very, very slow game. I think in total, was that 12 kills? 13 at the most, I think.
It was not a lot of kills in 39 minutes. It was,
But it was a game about objectives, and it was a game about key targets. And I think, crucially, when it mattered most, Riddle found key targets in those team fights, and they, picked off the members, which allowed them to do things like pick up the Baron multiple times. And they allowed them to push into the base and end the game.
Well, with that, we are going to game number 3 between Riddle and BTXL. It is last chance saloon for both of these teams. Loser of the next game is out of the NLC playoffs, and unfortunately going to have a very, very long off season. We'll see you in a moment.